It's Monday, January 22nd, 2024. Let's talk about the news. From Bloomberg, Venezuela boosts minimum wage by 43% to quell growing protests. Venezuelan President Maduro has raised the country's minimum wage to the equivalent of about $100 per month, an increase of more than 40%, following a wave of protests throughout the country. This increase will be delivered as a monthly supplement of $60 and $40 in food stamps, alongside a base salary of a little under $4, which is about $70 more all told, compared to the previous state of things. This boost was announced leading into an election year, the date of the election not yet scheduled, but Maduro is lagging far behind the opposition, and he's been pulling out all the stops to stoke nationalist support, including threatening conflict with neighboring Guyana, as there's a chance he will have to allow the election to play out more legitimately than usual if he wants U.S. sanctions on the country's oil to remain eased. From Quartz, Africa's biggest oil refinery begins production in Nigeria with the aim of reducing need for imports. A $19 billion oil production facility has come online in Nigeria, the country's first privately owned refinery and the largest on the continent. This is being seen as a pretty big deal, as Nigeria is one of the biggest oil producers in Africa, but its refineries are mostly aging and badly maintained, which has left them operating way below their potential max capacity. They've got oil, but not refined, usable petroleum, basically, which has left them suffering from a long-running energy crisis and costs them a fortune in oil imports. Once at full capacity, this new facility, which is owned by the country's richest man, is expected to meet 100% of Nigeria's gasoline, diesel, kerosene, and jet fuel needs, and about 40% of its output will also be available for export. And from the Wall Street Journal, China's growth slows to 3-decade low, excluding pandemic. China's official economic growth rate dropped to 5.25% in 2023, marking the slowest rate of growth since 1990, excluding the 3 years it was largely shut down due to the pandemic. Reports about China's ongoing economic woes are increasing in tempo, and this new data is notable in part because China's government is broadly suspected of fluffing its numbers to look better than they are. So this not good number might be the optimistic, prettified for public consumption version of a far bleaker figure. But it's also notable because it's arriving alongside other indications of stagnation, like the country's persistent decreases in birth rate, and because of the potential this could mean China got big before it got rich, setting it up for an unavoidable slow-motion collapse, which could have all sorts of implications for its next step foreign policy moves and for the global economy, among other interconnected national, regional, and geopolitical variables. If you're finding some value in one-sentence news, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.